What if everything you believed about building muscle after 60 was wrong? And a simple discovery buried inside a closed door scientific study just overturned decades of nutrition advice. Because that is exactly what happened when researchers quietly uncovered a result so unexpected that the entire panel reportedly froze during the presentation. A team of sports nutrition scientists had been running a detailed comparison for months, testing the most widely used protein sources in the world: whey protein, eggs, lean meats, and even a wide range of plant based proteins to determine which one actually helps adults over 60 rebuild muscle most effectively and efficiently. They expected familiar outcomes. Whey protein, often considered the gold standard, was supposed to lead. Eggs and lean meats were expected to follow closely. Plant proteins were assumed to lag behind due to lower digestibility and incomplete amino acid profiles. But instead, the data revealed something completely different. One category didn't just perform better, it dramatically outperformed everything else, surpassing whey protein by as much as 500 times in certain muscle recovery markers. And the most surprising part wasn't just the performance, it was the source. It wasn't an advanced supplement developed in a lab. It wasn't a high-priced protein powder marketed to athletes. It wasn't even animal-based nutrition. It was something incredibly simple, something most people walk past in grocery stores without a second thought: everyday grains that cost roughly $1. These grains activated muscle growth signals in older adults far more efficiently than some of the most advanced protein formulas available today. Researchers discovered that they contain a uniquely absorbable amino acid structure that aging bodies respond to almost instantly. This detail is critical because the human digestive system changes significantly after the age of 60. Stomach acid levels naturally decline, protein absorption becomes less efficient, and as a result, amino acids from foods like meat and whey often pass through the body without being fully utilized. This is one of the hidden reasons many seniors experience a frustrating pattern. They continue eating similar meals to what they ate decades ago, yet their bodies begin to feel weaker, softer, and less responsive. They feel full after eating, but not stronger. They maintain weight, but lose muscle quality. The issue isn't just how much protein they eat, it's how poorly their bodies are able to absorb and use it. These grains appear to solve that problem in a way researchers did not expect. Instead of requiring heavy digestion or complex breakdown, they deliver amino acids in a form that older bodies can process more efficiently, allowing muscle repair and growth signals to activate faster and more consistently. This is why today's topic is so important. Because for decades, many seniors have been led to believe that building or maintaining muscle after 60 requires expensive protein supplements, intense gym routines, or restrictive diets that are difficult to sustain. But emerging research is challenging that idea entirely. It suggests that strength, balance, mobility, and energy can all be improved through simple dietary changes using foods that cost less than a cup of coffee. And what makes this even more fascinating is that the list of grains being studied doesn't rely on synthetic enhancement or artificial processing. These are natural, widely available foods that have been part of human diets for centuries, now being reevaluated through the lens of modern nutrition science. So in this video, we are going to break down 5 of these powerful grains, starting with number 5, something most people have eaten their entire lives, but almost no one has ever used correctly for muscle growth. Because while the first grain is already impressive, the second one later in this list completely shocked researchers. In clinical data, it showed the ability to boost muscle fiber repair, increase cellular energy production, and stimulate growth signals even in adults over the age of 80. But before we get there, it's important to understand how these grains work in the body and why they may be fundamentally different from the protein sources most people rely on today. Number 5 is something that many people already know, but almost nobody understands correctly when it comes to muscle health: wild rice. Despite its name, wild rice is not actually rice in the traditional sense. It is the seed of an aquatic grass that naturally grows in lakes and slow-moving rivers, mainly in North America. This small detail changes everything about how it behaves nutritionally, especially for aging muscles. Unlike standard white rice, which is heavily processed and stripped of most nutrients, wild rice remains much closer to its natural form, preserving compounds that directly support recovery, strength, and overall vitality. For centuries, Indigenous communities recognized its value long before modern science ever studied it. It was harvested seasonally and consumed as a highly respected food source, not just for energy, but for strength and endurance. Today, nutrition science is finally confirming what traditional knowledge already understood: wild rice is far more than a simple carbohydrate source. One of its most important features is that it is considered a complete protein. This means it contains all 9 essential amino acids that the human body cannot produce on its own. This is extremely rare in plant-based foods, and it makes wild rice especially useful for seniors who are trying to maintain muscle mass without relying heavily on animal protein or supplements. A single cooked cup provides around 6.5 grams of protein, along with a meaningful amount of dietary fiber. While that may not sound extremely high compared to protein powders, the quality of this protein matters more than the quantity alone, especially for older adults whose digestion and absorption capacity has declined over time. Research has consistently shown that higher quality plant proteins like this can support muscle maintenance, growth, and overall physical resilience when consumed regularly. But what truly separates wild rice from ordinary grains is its antioxidant profile. Scientific analysis has found that wild rice can contain up to 30 times more antioxidant activity than white rice. This is a critical factor for aging muscles because oxidative stress is one of the major drivers of muscle breakdown over time. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at repairing cellular damage, which leads to slower recovery, increased inflammation, and gradual loss of muscle quality. The antioxidants in wild rice help slow down this process by protecting cells from damage, reducing inflammation, and supporting recovery after physical activity. One of the key compounds involved is synapic acid, a type of phenolic acid that has been linked to cardiovascular protection. This matters because strong muscles are not just about protein intake, they also depend on a healthy circulatory system that delivers oxygen and nutrients efficiently throughout the body. Wild rice also contains important minerals such as phosphorus and zinc. These nutrients play a direct role in bone strength and immune function. This connection is often overlooked, but it is extremely important. Muscles are attached to bones, and if bone structure weakens with age, muscle function also declines. By supporting bone density, wild rice indirectly supports better mobility, stability, and reduced injury risk. Another advantage is that wild rice is naturally gluten-free. Many seniors experience digestive sensitivity with certain grains or processed protein products, especially those that contain gluten or artificial additives. Wild rice is generally easier on the digestive system, making it a safer and more comfortable option for consistent use. It also has an alkalizing effect on the body, which helps reduce excess acidity. High acidity levels are often linked to inflammation, fatigue, and slower recovery, all of which can interfere with muscle maintenance. By supporting a more balanced internal environment, wild rice helps the body function more efficiently overall. Preparation is simple but important if you want to get the most benefit. Cooking it slowly in water or low-sodium broth allows the grains to open up fully while maintaining their chewy texture and nutrient integrity. Once cooked, it can be used in a wide range of meals: grain bowls, soups, salads, or even as a base instead of rice. But while wild rice offers a strong foundation for muscle health, the next grain on the list takes things a step further. It introduces a protein quality and amino acid profile that researchers describe as significantly more advanced in terms of muscle repair efficiency. Number 4 is Freekeh, an ancient grain that many people have never heard of, yet it has been quietly sustaining populations across the Middle East for thousands of years. Originating in regions like Syria, Lebanon, and the broader Fertile Crescent, Freekeh is now gaining serious attention from modern nutrition science for one key reason. It behaves very differently from most common grains when it comes to muscle repair and protein quality. What makes Freekeh unique starts with how it is produced. Unlike mature wheat, Freekeh is harvested while still young and green. At this stage, the grain is then roasted and processed in a way that preserves and even enhances its nutritional density. This early harvest method is what gives Freekeh its distinct advantage: a higher concentration of nutrients, especially those directly linked to muscle function, Recent scientific reviews have highlighted Freekeh as a superior grain in terms of protein digestibility and amino acid composition. In simple terms, this means your body's not only getting more protein, but is also able to break it down and use it more efficiently. For older adults, this distinction is extremely important because digestion naturally becomes less efficient with age, and not all dietary protein is absorbed equally well. Freekeh contains significantly higher levels of essential amino acids, such as lysine, methionine, isoleucine, valine, and threonine when compared to regular wheat. These amino acids are not optional nutrients, they are essential building blocks that your muscles rely on for repair, recovery, and growth after any form of physical activity. Without enough of them, muscle recovery slows down and strength gradually declines over time. One of the most important aspects of Free K is its protein density. On average, it provides around 15 grams of protein per 100 grams of dry grain, which places it among the highest protein grains available in regular food sources. This is not just a minor improvement, it represents a meaningful nutritional shift for anyone trying to maintain muscle mass without relying heavily on supplements. Freekeh also contains a notable amount of glutamic acid, which plays an important role in producing glutamine. Glutamine is widely known in sports science because it supports endurance, recovery, and overall physical performance. While it is often associated with athletes, its benefits are equally relevant for older adults who need better recovery after everyday physical activities such as walking, climbing stairs, or light exercise. Another major benefit of Freekeh is its fiber content. With approximately 13 grams of fiber per 100 grams, it significantly outperforms many other grains like brown rice and even quinoa. This fiber does more than support digestion. It actively helps feed beneficial gut bacteria. And this is where things become especially interesting because modern research is increasingly showing a direct link between gut health and muscle health. A well-balanced gut microbiome improves nutrient absorption, which in turn supports more efficient muscle repair and energy production. Freekeh also has a low glycemic index, which means it releases energy slowly into the bloodstream rather than causing rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar. This is important because stable energy levels allow for better physical performance, improved endurance, and more consistent daily activity without sudden fatigue. When it comes to preparation, Freekeh is simple and versatile. It cooks relatively quickly compared to many whole grains, and once prepared, it has a slightly nutty flavor and a satisfying chewy texture. It can be used in salads, grain bowls, soups, or as a replacement for rice in everyday meals. But even with all these advantages, Freekeh is not the final word in muscle-supporting grains. The next grain on the list goes further by directly influencing strength markers that are measurable in clinical studies, including grip strength and overall physical performance. Number 3 is barley, one of the oldest cultivated grains in human history, yet still widely underestimated when it comes to modern muscle health. For many people, barley is just a basic ingredient used in soups or traditional dishes, but recent scientific findings suggest it plays a far more active role in supporting strength, endurance, and physical performance, especially in older adults. What makes barley stand out is not just its nutritional profile, but the way it interacts with the body over time. A 2025 study published in Food Science and Human Wellness examined the effects of long-term barley consumption on aging skeletal muscle. The research followed subjects over several months and measured multiple health indicators, including inflammation levels, metabolic function, muscle performance, and exercise capacity. The results were consistent and significant. Participants who regularly consumed barley showed improvements in muscle-related outcomes, along with reduced inflammation and better metabolic stability. These changes are particularly important for seniors because inflammation and metabolic decline are two of the key drivers behind muscle loss and reduced mobility with age. One of barley's most powerful components is a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. This compound has been studied extensively for its effects on heart health, blood sugar regulation, and now increasingly muscle function. In a controlled clinical trial, even small daily doses of beta-glucan over just a few weeks led to measurable improvements in grip strength and upper body muscle performance. These are not abstract results. They are direct indicators of real-world physical strength. What makes this even more interesting is how beta glucan works inside the body. Researchers have discovered that it influences metabolic signaling pathways linked to energy storage and muscle efficiency. In simple terms, it helps the body manage energy more effectively while also supporting the systems involved in muscle contraction and endurance. Barley also provides around 12 grams of protein per 100 grams, along with important minerals such as magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, and selenium. These nutrients play essential roles in muscle contraction, nerve function, and energy production. Without them, even adequate protein intake cannot fully translate into optimal muscle performance. Another important benefit of barley is its impact on cholesterol levels. Clinical studies have shown that regular consumption of beta glucan can reduce LDL cholesterol, which supports better cardiovascular health. This matters because the heart and muscles are deeply connected. Your muscles rely on a strong, efficient circulatory system to receive oxygen and nutrients during movement and recovery. Barley also provides slow-releasing carbohydrates, which means it delivers steady energy rather than quick spikes. This is especially beneficial for seniors who need stable energy levels throughout the day to stay active, mobile, and engaged in physical activity without sudden fatigue. Preparation is straightforward. Barley is typically simmered in water or broth until it becomes tender and slightly chewy. Once cooked, it can be added to soups, stews, salads, or used as a replacement for rice in many meals. Its ability to absorb flavors makes it highly versatile in everyday cooking. But even with all of these benefits, barley is still not the top grain on the list. The next grain has been widely recommended by major medical institutions and is considered a complete protein source with a nutrient profile that rivals many animal-based foods. Number 2 is farro, an ancient grain that has been part of human diets since the early civilizations of Mesopotamia, yet it is now making a strong return in modern nutrition for a very specific reason. It delivers a balanced combination of protein, fiber, and essential minerals that directly support muscle maintenance and overall physical strength in aging adults. Farro is often described by nutrition experts as a complete protein source, meaning it contains all the essential amino acids the body cannot produce on its own. This is a key feature because muscle repair and growth depend heavily on these amino acids being available in consistent amounts. Without them, the body struggles to maintain muscle mass, especially as natural aging processes begin to slow down protein synthesis efficiency. A typical serving of whole grain farro provides a meaningful amount of protein along with a high fiber content. This combination is particularly important because it supports two systems at once: muscle structure and digestive health. Better digestion leads to improved nutrient absorption, which ultimately determines how effectively the body can use protein for muscle repair. Major medical institutions, including respected clinical nutrition centers, have highlighted farro as a nutrient-dense grain that supports overall health in aging populations. It contains key minerals such as magnesium, zinc, and iron, all of which play direct roles in muscle performance. Magnesium supports muscle contraction and relaxation. Zinc is essential for protein synthesis and immune function, and iron helps deliver oxygen to muscles through the bloodstream, reducing fatigue and improving endurance. One of the most important benefits of farro is how it affects satiety. Because of its high fiber and protein combination, it helps you feel full for longer periods. This is especially useful for older adults trying to maintain a stable diet without overeating or relying on processed foods. Stable nutrition patterns are closely linked to better muscle maintenance and energy levels over time. Farro is also relatively easy to prepare and can be used in a wide variety of meals. It can be cooked in water or broth until it becomes tender but still slightly chewy, which makes it suitable for salads, soups, or as a base for balanced meals. Some people even soak it beforehand to reduce cooking time and improve texture. But now we reach the final grain, the one that researchers consider the most powerful in this entire list. It stands out not just because of its protein content, but because of how it directly activates muscle-building pathways in the body. Number 1 is sorghum. Sorghum is one of the most nutrient-dense grains available, and what makes it especially important for seniors is its unusually high protein content compared to most other grains. In fact, it contains significantly more protein per serving than many commonly consumed staples, making it a strong plant-based alternative for maintaining muscle mass without relying on animal products or supplements. But the most important feature of sorghum is not just the amount of protein it is, the quality of its amino acid profile, particularly leucine. Leucine is one of the most critical amino acids for muscle growth because it acts as a direct trigger for muscle protein synthesis. In simple terms, it signals the body to start repairing and building muscle tissue after physical activity or dietary intake. Sorghum provides a meaningful amount of leucine in each serving, enough to actively support this muscle building process. This is especially important for older adults as aging naturally reduces the efficiency of muscle protein synthesis. By providing a direct source of this key amino acid, sorghum helps reactivate the body's ability to maintain and rebuild muscle more effectively. It also contains a range of beneficial plant compounds such as flavonoids and antioxidants, which help reduce oxidative stress. This is crucial because oxidative damage is one of the underlying factors that accelerates muscle aging, slows recovery, and reduces physical performance over time. Another major advantage of sorghum is that it is naturally gluten-free, making it suitable for individuals who experience digestive sensitivity or discomfort with wheat-based products. It also contains prebiotic fiber, which supports gut health and improves nutrient absorption, both of which are essential for maintaining muscle strength and energy levels. Preparation is simple. Sorghum can be cooked like rice or used as a base for meals, added to soups, or even prepared in batches for convenience throughout the week. Its versatility makes it easy to incorporate into a daily diet without major changes to eating habits. When you look at all 5 grains together, a clear pattern emerges. These are not expensive supplements or artificial solutions. They are simple, natural foods that support muscle health through complete protein profiles, better digestion, improved nutrient absorption, and reduced inflammation. The key takeaway is not that one grain alone will transform your health, but that consistent, balanced nutrition built around these foods can significantly support strength, energy, and independence as you age. Even small dietary changes, like replacing refined grains with nutrient-dense alternatives, can have a noticeable impact over time. If there is one practical step to take away from this, it is to start small. Add one of these grains into your meals this week. Replace a refined carbohydrate with a whole grain option that actively supports your body instead of just filling it. Your muscles respond to what you consistently feed them, and over time, these choices add up.